Hey guys, welcome back to Forgotten Spirit Halloween Props. Spirit of Halloween 9 here, and today we're going to be taking a look at a classic YJ prop from the good old year of 2012, the Headbanger Zombie. So guys, the Headbanger Zombie animatronic, first off, let me give you guys a little bit of a history lesson, if you will. The Headbanger Zombie animatronic, originally made by YJ, was released at Spirit Halloween in 2012. It sold for $130. Now keep in mind, this was before inflation stuff really hit at Spirit Halloween. So if I had to price this thing today to today's standards, it'd probably be around the 200 range. Which, it's some things you just have to let go, and that's one of those. But he's not being sold today, so whatever. Now, this animatronic, like I said, was made by YJ. This particular animatronic actually is fully working. Thankfully, and it's actually has absolutely no dry rot at all. The hands are still just as they were in 2012. The latex is not affected at all, and it's still in pristine condition, which is very surprising to me, because if we go back, this was 2012 and it's 2020, so this thing is 8 years old. So for an 8-year-old animatronic, I really can't complain. I'm actually praising them for, the people that previously owned this for taking such good care of it. I bought this thing off of Facebook Marketplace for about $150. A lot of people would say that that's too much money for this guy, but if we're looking back at how much this thing was in 2012, which was $130, I really don't see the problem in $20 extra. I think that's actually a fairly fair price, considering I've seen these guys go for more than $200, which is which is kind of funny, considering that, if you take in consideration inflation and all that, if this thing was sold at Spirit nowadays, that's probably how much it would be brand new, if it was still being made. Now, of course, as you guys know, the Headbanger Zombie, as his name states, his head will thrash back and forth, as it says there on the box. His mouth moves upwards. His eyes light up, and he plays a very unique and very classic Spirit Halloween audio. I say Spirit Halloween, but really I should say YJ audio. The Hazmat Zombie from 2017, which was made by Taylux Artware, has the exact same audio as this guy. The only difference being that it's not as good of quality as this one is, and it actually plays it twice instead of once. So the track lasts 20 seconds instead of 10. So that's the only difference. Now I must say, I know the camera's far back, and I know I've been talking for 4 or 5 minutes without actually getting up close and personal. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright, so I thought it'd be a good idea to start off with the hands. Now the hands have some good quality, but it's a very basic paint job. There really isn't anything special. What's actually interesting to note is that the material on the hands and the material on the head feels very different. This feels like almost like a silicone or some kind of different rubber. It doesn't really feel like latex. It almost feels like the material that Techie Toys uses on their animatronics when they make their latex props. Just thought I might want to point that out for any of you that are curious. Now the hands actually are posable. You can actually bend the wire. There's a wire right here. You can bend it upwards, and you can have it only gripping slightly if it's a thicker object, or you can really bend it down to have it really gripping tight if it's a skinnier type of pole or tree branch. Now moving on. The shirt actually has detail on it, which is something we don't really see at Spirit too often anymore. It's typically just a black cloak or a brown shirt or something like that. There really isn't anything like this that we've seen at Spirit, which kind of sucks. But anyways, so here's the very iconic looking face. Now, like I said, this particular one has absolutely no dry rot, so it squishes up really, really nice, which is really, I'm very glad of that. But if we get up close here, you can see there's just a ton of detail in his face. The shadowing is very decent. The mouth really looks good. I like the skin textures and the little red veins they've added there. The inside of the mouth, of course, is just kind of the same red and black, but they still put detail in there, so that's pretty cool. Side of the face looks very nice. Lots of red and black. We take a look at the other side. The box is kind of in the way here, but as you can see, still plenty of detail, even in spots you wouldn't even really recognize or see. There's some detail, even in the ear. So this thing is overall very, very realistic looking, if zombies were actually real, if you would consider. Now, something I find unique on this animatronic that I don't see on too many animatronics nowadays is the chest actually has detail. There's actually some cuts and some wounds right here, which is really, really cool. I'm really glad that YJ added that, because if it was just the foam or just the shirt or just the neck, it would look kind of stupid. But the fact that they added that makes it all the more realistic. The only other time I've seen that on an animatronic from Spirit is the experimental Eddie that came out last year. Unfortunately, he's now unavailable. He wasn't in stores for 2020. So that's pretty neat. Now let's kind of go off on something a little less important, is the cord. This is the longest cord I think I've ever seen for any Spirit animatronic, especially nowadays, because nowadays they don't have cords like this anymore that are coming straight out of the animatronic that end like this. Nowadays you just get a 6-volt 2-amp adapter and plug it right in. So this cord, I haven't measured it yet, but if I had to guess, this is a 10-foot long cord, which is really, really swell of YJ to include that, because it says right on the box right here that you can put it on a tree, a door jamb, windows, piping, anything. So the fact that they made the cord that long and to accommodate for that feature is really, really cool. So I'm really glad that YJ was thinking about that as they were building this animatronic. You really don't see that nowadays. And here again, even the foot pad cord is incredibly long. It's not as long as the adapter cord, of course, but it's still much longer than what you get nowadays. And this is the thing that all older YJ props had, was on the actual adapter itself is only like a couple feet, so it's really not that long, maybe 1.5 feet. The end of the adapter goes to this. And then the actual thing coming out of the guy is that. Now, this is good for 2 reasons. One, it means you can't accidentally plug in the wrong adapter and fry this guy out. That happens a lot, especially with the techie props. Those things are really get abused. So that's always cool. And it also makes it so you have to use a YJ adapter, so you're not using some off-brand adapter that could fry out your animatronic. Again, it's the same reason, but it's kind of 2 reasons put together. So that's pretty cool. Now, being that the animatronic has that cord set up, if you can look all day and you will not find an on or off switch or a setting for the foot pad. Basically, how it works, if you want to use a try me button or a foot pad, is, well, I would unplug the item first, but if it's plugged in. If it's not plugged in, all you do is you plug in a foot pad or a try me button into that slot, and then you plug it into the wall, and when you do that, the circuit board will automatically recognize that there's a foot pad or an input plugged in right here, and it will essentially switch it on, switch the sensor, turn the sensor off, and put it strictly into the foot pad / try me button mode. This can be said for the same if you have nothing plugged in there. It won't recognize any input, and it'll just use the motion sensor. Now, I wish this guy was sound activated, because his sensor is not. This was a year before YJ started including the PIR sensors, which are the ones that work in the dark. The ones that they have on this guy is the standard stock YJ, old sensors that look like that. And that is a light detector. It's not an actual, it doesn't sense motion. It senses variations in light. Meaning if I were to hold a bright flashlight up to him and then turn it off quickly, it would activate him, because it's one of those, they call them photocells, basically. So there's a little bit of an up-close look at the Headbanger Zombie. So guys, anyways, I think I've talked for quite some time here, but I went over everything on the animatronic. The only thing we have not seen so far is the guy working. So I'm going to go ahead and hang this guy up in another room. It's kind of dark, so lighting's going to be a bit difficult, but I'm going to go ahead and hang him up in there, get him plugged in, turned on, and I will show you guys this guy in action. Where is that? There it is. So there he is. I'll go ahead and do it one more time. So guys, there you have it. There is the video review of the animated Headbanger Zombie from Spirit Halloween, made by YJ in 2012. Just a kind of a similar note I'd like to throw in here is the previous year in 2011, YJ did actually make a zombie baby, and it was called Bang Bang Zombie Baby. Now, I don't know if that was a really good seller, and so Spirit came to YJ and told him to make a full-size zombie, I guess, person, or if maybe that was just a thing that was planned all along with YJ. But I do know that they both have, they kind of both share resemblance in the mechanism and just kind of the overall idea of the thing. I think that this animatronic was based off that. I can't prove that, but that's just kind of my overall opinion and feeling of this thing. I mean, they both do the exact same thing, it's just this one has mouth movement. So guys, I want to end this video right here. I want to thank all of you guys for watching. Like I said, this is a very cool animatronic. If you can get this off eBay, which is where you're only going to be able to get it, you might see it pop up on places like OfferUp, Letgo, or even Marketplace, where I got this guy. Like I said, $200, $250 max if you really want them. Overall worth it. I'm going to give it a thumbs up. I think this is a pretty cool animatronic, and it still holds up even 8 years later after its release. So it really says something about YJ, and they can make a good long-lasting animatronic. So guys, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Don't be forgotten, subscribe, give this video a like, and I will see you guys for the next review. Take it easy.